Hey Ben, my name is Nathan Rogers, and I wanted to give you guys some feedback on your landing page and your product idea. So I'm going to go back over to your message here in Indie Hackers first because I think ironically here in this description of what you do, you provide a much clearer and better case than you do on your actual landing page. So here you're talking about you're clear. This is great. You know who your target customer is, non-tech founders. You have the problem clearly identified, that it's really difficult right now. You have to rely on either hourly or monthly contracts, fixed price contracts. Well, so that's sort of the problem, right? That's an issue. That's a thing they have to do. But then, yeah, like you said, these force you into zero-sum game thinking as you're trading money for time. So I think that you want to try to hone in on that problem a bit more. Like, what is it that's really at the root of that problem, right? Maybe it's that it's really difficult to predict the cost of the project. And so as a non-tech founder, they don't know where to start, or they don't know who to trust, or maybe because they're non-techie and they don't know how to know what's true and what's not true. So which is kind of related to trust there. So I think that's one thing you want to do, is really clear on what is the main problem that they're feeling. How does that affect them? And then you have a framework. You have this here you talk about 5 parts of your framework. So that's great. I mean, all of that is really great information. The problem is none of that is here. So get your software product in front of customers at minimum cost. Okay, that's a bit about it, but you really want to try to address this. I think, again, who is that ideal customer? It's non-tech founders, or people who maybe are non-tech. They have a great idea, but they don't have the tech side of things to do. So what you could say here is, exactly that. Have a great product, a great software product idea, but no idea how to get started. And then you can say the cross-dissemination, like that doesn't add any value. And it does. I'll same with the pay-as-you-go solution. Like you're still not. You have to talk first about the pain and how are you going to get them? What is the result that they want? The result that they want is a functioning product that gets fulfills their vision of their product with the least amount of hassle, and essentially where they're not having to deal with the technical stuff. So it sounds like you guys are helping them create that roadmap. So have a great product idea, but not sure. Have a great software product idea, but have no idea how to handle the tech. We will walk you through every step of the way, and let us show you how. Or we will walk you. Our 5-part framework, because you guys have these 5 parts. Our 5-part framework will get you from idea to minimum viable product in as little time as possible, with the least amount of budget possible. Contact us to find out how. So something like that, right? So you're telling them, okay, you're asking, do you have this problem? And then they're going to think, if they're your target customer, they're going to think, yeah, that's exactly the problem I have. And you say, awesome. You don't say awesome, but you say, here's our solution to that problem. Our solution is this 5-part framework that gets you from idea to minimum viable product with the least amount of time and budget possible. Okay? Let us show you how. So just that right there, if you just stopped right there, you would have, I think, a better landing page than you have right now. Then you have this weird little doodly thing here. Doesn't add any value, doesn't tell me. I mean, here what would be a lot more powerful is, let me see, scroll down here. You guys there's 3 of you. So, whoever's kind of the best in front of a camera, just, on your iPhone, or set up a camera on your, do a recording like I'm doing right here using a screen capture tool, but, where it could be full screen, and just introduce yourself. Say, hey, my name's Ben, and I'm one of the 3 founders of Prologe, or however you pronounce the name of your company. We are so excited to help software founders take care of the major problem that we see in software projects, which is many times the person who has the idea isn't a technical person, doesn't know how to do the development, doesn't know where to look or who to turn to, doesn't know who to trust, and they get themselves into these problems where they start with one developer and the costs quickly spiral out of control, and they may have to turn to another and then another and another, and their project languishes, and they never actually get to the most important thing, which is what's called the minimum viable product, where you can get your product out there in front of actual users as quickly as possible, get feedback, and then improve it from there. We help solve that problem. What we do is our 5-part framework, which is first, we will get on a Zoom call and we're going to really get in deep into the problem. We're going to figure out what it is that you're trying to solve. We're going to understand who your customer is. We're going to understand what their problem is. We're going to understand how your tool is going to fix that problem for them. Then we're going to actually put together a draft minimum viable product. So we're going to help, do whatever it is that you guys are going to do there. Then we're going to start the development. Well, you're probably missing a step right in there, right? Because you got to give them a budget at some point. At some point, so that's what's missing here. Is like at what point do you come back and give them a quote, a proposal for your services? So as part 1 free, at what point do you do that? So once you've accepted our proposal, then we're going to get to work. And this is how we're going to do what we do in a way that keeps us accountable and you happy and the budget under control. Can you explain that? What we're going to do next is we're going to actually get your product out in front of users, and we're going to get you your first users so that you get that most important feedback to help you continue to develop the project. And then we're going to hand over the project to your in-house team or another team that you found to take the problem on long term. That last one you might want to think about a lot, because that could be a problem, right? Like somebody could think, well, if you guys develop the whole thing, then what if I like working with you guys? What if I want to keep working? What if I don't want to hand over to a permanent team? So or what if I don't know how to hire a team? Like so you're providing a solution on the front end, but on the back end you're creating more questions. So you want to try to think about how you're gonna make that not a problem right now for them, right? So you say like, we're gonna help you find that team if you need help doing it, and or we're gonna offer a solution for providing ongoing tech support or whatever, if that's something that you guys are interested in. So a video right here, 60 to 90 seconds long, introducing yourself, going through your 5-point framework. If you can come up with a great name for your framework, it's going to be even better. Values. Nobody cares about your values at this point, right? People only care about what's in it for me. So you still have to convince them that you guys are going to solve their problem. So here, nobody cares about this right now. You want to communicate your values in the way that you present information, right? But those should be implicitly implied at this stage. Nobody cares. What they care about is, why should I pay attention to you guys, right? How it works. So this is a bit long. So I think this is here you have 4 steps, right? So prologue, prototyping, service, handoff. So again, if you could put this into, even if you just call it, right, like, our PPSH framework, right? And it's just the 4 initials or whatever it is. Give it a name, right? That sounds more official, sounds more like, okay, wow, these guys have a framework. That's something, right? Great. But I think you can probably talk about that a little bit more, right? Go into it a little bit more. And so, sorry, I'm just getting a bunch of messages here. Yeah, but I would just reduce the white space a bit. Maybe just put them all on a straight line, since they're pretty basic. 1, 2, 3, 4, or again, if you can come up with a name for it, if you can come up with 2 P's for this one, and service and handoff, you can come up with a word that starts with P, then it's your 4P framework. Something like that. Again, like, it really shows professionalism. It communicates and conveys professionalism and competence. So that's what you want to do. Team. If you're not going to talk a little bit about yourselves, then there's no value added to this. Okay, so Ben from Berlin, Lauren from Brussels, and Alex from New York. Okay, that doesn't I don't care, right? All I see is three young white dudes. How are you going to help me solve my problem? So again, I don't think at this point it doesn't really add a whole lot of value having this here, and even putting up bios of yourselves. It's all about how are you going to get the result? How do you communicate on this page that you understand what your dream client's problem is and what his dream result is? That's what you have to communicate here. Is you have to show them that you're in their heads, that you get them and you have the solution because you get them. Okay, that's the whole thing here. How we work, again, I wouldn't even, because this is such a short page, I would just take off this link here. Latest projects, I'm not really clear what this is. Is this a client that you guys had? If so, then, or if it's even a project that you did that shows that you can, mold into an example, I would just put it on the front page. If this was like an external client that you guys helped, try to get a testimonial, if you get a video testimonial, or even just a written testimonial where you can put here, that says, like, check out what we did for X, client. They had this project. It doesn't need to be this long, right? This is a bit long, and it needs to be summarized, right? Like, this was their problem, and this is what we did for them. This is how long it took, and we saved them X $1,000 over what it would have cost had they gone with the traditional solution or whatever, right? So those are the kind of things that you want to be saying on your landing page. Okay, now I'm going to come to the way that people are getting in touch with you. Here you just have enter your email, get in touch. I doubt you're going to get a lot of response from that. You need to invest the time in creating what's called a lead magnet, which is maybe a report or something. There's a couple of strategies you could do here. All right, the easiest quote unquote strategy for getting an email address is to create a report. So what you might want to do is think about, again, who is this dream client? So what are the 5 biggest problems that non-technical founders, non-technical people or founders have when they are trying to develop a software product, right? And then you think about what are there? I mean, what are they, right? You show that you understand the problem, and then in there you have some solutions, you have some value that you're giving, and then you point them back to your service. You say, here's how you can do it. The traditional route is this. You go to Upwork. You go blast out a request for a partner. You take a risk that you're bringing on a development partner who, you may or may not know or trust, and, you get yourself tied to this person, and 9 times out of 10 things don't work out or whatever. Put some statistics in there, make it real, make it meaningful. It doesn't have to be long, 3, 4, 5 pages, and that's valuable content. So you say, get your free report on the 5 biggest challenges that, non-technical software founders have. And you get them, then you send them the report, and then you start doing email follow-up. And then you send them a couple of messages the first day, say, hey, thank you so much for signing up and getting your report. We hope it was valuable. Just a little bit more about us, and you do a warm-up sequence, and then you start to have a call to action to contact us. Another strategy is that you try to get them to schedule an appointment. So rather than them going from here to give you an email direct. Well, you try to get their email, but you then send them to a calendar page. So let me show you how that can look actually for one of my clients. So they're in beta. All right, and what we're going to do is, so we were trying to get some beta users. So they've created a different kind of a lead magnet. Their lead magnet is essentially building a free web scraper, and they want to get people on the phone to show them the product and to get to know their first customers, etc. So here, people can enter their name and email. They click schedule my call, and then they're going to go to a page where they can schedule a a call with the founder of the company. And then by the time they get on the call, they're going to have their free web scraper built. So that's kind of the incentive. So that's the kind of page that you could also build, right? And try to see if that gets results. So there's a couple different options that you have there. But again, the most important thing is you have your ideal customer clearly identified, you have a core problem, and you have a solution to that problem. You just have to be better about portraying those things on your landing page and communicating those things. So again, Ben, I hope that was really helpful. You guys look like you're going to have a really interesting service. My company, I provide funnel lead gen services for principally for B2B SaaS companies in the early stages. So be interesting to talk to you guys a little bit more if you're interested. Send me a reply message here on Indie Hackers, and we could take it offline and have a different conversation about potentially a way to work together where if you guys get clients and then maybe if you're not that expert on the marketing side or on the funnel side, then potentially we could work together on that if things worked out. So that would be an interesting conversation to have. I'd be open to that. But even if not, I hope this feedback was helpful and wish you all the best of luck with your project.